Beloved, listen carefully. Every great destiny begins with the seed of a dream. The world you admire today, the inventions that make life easier, the nations that have risen in power, all of them were first born as dreams in the hearts of men and women who dared to believe. The future does not respond to wishes, it responds to vision. A dream is God's way of giving you a picture of tomorrow so that you will not settle for the limitations of today. To dream big is not arrogance, it is alignment with the possibilities of God. Because when you walk with the God who created the heavens and the earth, small thinking becomes an insult to his greatness. Hear me, nothing becomes big until it is first seen. Abraham was told, lift up your eyes and see. As far as your eyes can see, it will be given unto you. Your limitation is not the economy, your background, or your present challenges. Your true limitation is the size of your dream. Great men are ordinary people who allowed the Spirit of God to stretch their imagination. They were not born extraordinary. They simply refused to accept that what they saw around them was all there is. They believed that inside them was a seed of greatness that could rewrite history, but dreaming big is not enough. Every dream must be matched with discipline, with process, with courage. God will always show you the end, but he will lead you through the pathway of process. Many people abort their dreams because the process is uncomfortable. They forget that every palace has a wilderness and every crown has a cross. If you want to see your dream manifest, then embrace 3 truths. Preserve your dream in prayer. Dreams are vulnerable. The pressures of life can suffocate them if you are not sustained by communion with God. Invest in knowledge. A big dream without capacity is a recipe for frustration. Build yourself until your skill, your wisdom, and your character match the greatness of what you are seeing. Stay around dreamers. Association is prophetic. If you surround yourself with small minds, they will suffocate your dream. But when you walk with men and women who think beyond the ordinary, your spirit will constantly be stretched. Hear me, your dream is not just about you. Nations are tied to it. Generations will thank God that you did not give up. That idea, that vision, that assignment you carry. It is an answer to somebody's prayer. So I charge you tonight, dream big, refuse to reduce your vision to the level of your environment, refuse to be intimidated by the size of your background. If God put it in your heart, then he also supplied the grace to make it a reality. Rise up, child of destiny, nations are waiting for you, creation is waiting for you, and heaven is cheering you on. Dream big, and don't stop until your dream becomes a testimony that glorifies God. It is important to understand that life will always present you with circumstances that seem capable of stopping you, situations that whisper to you that you cannot rise beyond a certain level because of where you were born, who your parents are, the level of education you received, or the resources at your disposal. Many people live all their lives allowing these external conditions to define the boundaries of their possibilities. Yet the truth is this. History has shown us again and again that men and women who were written off by society, who had nothing to their names, who were born in obscurity, became mighty forces in their generation simply because they chose to dream beyond the limitations around them. Every great invention, every revolution, every breakthrough in science, business, ministry, or leadership came from someone who refused to allow their background to become their burial ground. They understood that true limitation is not the poverty around them, not the mockery of men, not even the pain of rejection. True limitation is the size of the dream that they dare to carry in their hearts. If your dream is small, life will gladly keep you small. If your dream is ordinary, the forces of mediocrity will embrace you as one of their own. But when your dream is big enough to intimidate your environment, then you begin to attract the grace and resources necessary to make it a reality. There is something about the audacity of a large dream that provokes divine attention. It is as though heaven waits for men and women who look beyond their circumstances and dare to declare, though I was born here, I will not die here. Though my father did not rise to this level, I will not end where he ended. Though I have nothing today, I carry a dream that will outlive me and bless generations. Consider the lives of men who rose from obscurity to influence. Many of them had no mentor, no money, and no platform when they started. All they had was a dream, but it was a dream big enough to push them beyond excuses. They knew that while others were lamenting over what they lacked, they could begin to build on what they carried within. This is why the most important thing to protect is not your possessions, but your vision. Possessions can be stolen, but vision, when preserved, can recreate everything you lost and much more. If you have a dream, you have a future. If you have a dream, you have a destiny. If you have a dream, you have a reason to defy the odds and keep moving. Your environment might tell you that nothing good comes from where you were born, but it is not where you were born that determines your destiny. It is what you see about your future. Your challenges may whisper that life is unfair, but your ability to dream will give you a reason to rise again. Every giant was once an ordinary man who allowed his dream to enlarge his vision of what was possible. Every empire began as a small thought in the heart of someone who refused to accept the verdict of limitation. Every success story you admire is proof that the true prison is not walls of stone, but walls of small thinking. When a person begins to dream beyond their present reality, something happens to their spirit. Suddenly, courage rises within them. Suddenly, hope begins to burn brighter. Suddenly, discipline finds expression because the dream gives them a reason to endure the process. If your dream is small, you will easily give up when challenges come. But when your dream is big, it keeps you awake at night. It fuels your hunger to learn. It compels you to build relationships that matter. It drives you to pray, and it causes you to reject every voice that tries to shrink you back into mediocrity. Many people underestimate the power of imagination. God gave us the gift of imagination so that even when our environment is small, our minds can still be big. A man can be in a small room but see the nations. A woman can be sitting in obscurity, but imagine a future where she builds schools, hospitals, or companies that transform her generation. Imagination is the womb of creation, and dreaming big is the way we conceive possibilities that have not yet entered reality. Your dream sets the boundary for what can happen in your life. The reason some people achieve so much is not because life is fairer to them, but because their dream created a large enough space for greatness to find expression. The reason some achieve little is not because they are less gifted, but because their dream was too small to attract the help, the resources, and the opportunities that were waiting for them. Think of it this way: the size of your dream determines the size of the vessel you present to life. If you bring a small cup, life will fill it. If you bring a large container, life will fill it. If you dare to bring barrels, life will still find a way to fill them. The issue has never been scarcity. The issue has always been the size of what you are willing to believe for. This is why two people can be born in the same family, raised under the same conditions, and yet their lives turn out completely different. One chooses to dream big, to stretch their imagination, to fight for more, while the other chooses to settle. The difference is not their background, but the size of their dream. And let me tell you, big dreams are not about selfish ambition. Big dreams are about purpose. They are about allowing your life to become an instrument of transformation. When your dream is big enough, it goes beyond you. It touches people, it touches communities, it touches nations. And that is when heaven commits to it, because heaven is always looking for men and women whose dreams are big enough to accommodate the plans of God for generations. So every time you look at your challenges, remind yourself that they are not the real limitation. Every time you feel unqualified because of your past, remind yourself that the past does not define the boundaries of your future. Every time you feel small compared to what you see in your heart, remind yourself that what you are carrying is a prophecy waiting to manifest. And if you dare to dream bigger than your pain, bigger than your past, bigger than your excuses, then you will discover that truly your limitation has never been external. Your limitation has always been the size of your dream. Every great dream carries within it the potential to change a life, to transform a family, and to shift the destiny of nations, but the journey from dream to reality is delicate. A dream is like a seed, full of life and possibility, yet fragile enough to be lost if not properly guarded. This is why every big dream must be preserved, must be built, and must be sustained. The soil that nurtures a dream is not talent or luck, but a combination of spiritual, intellectual, and relational investments that determine whether what you have seen in your spirit will ever become a tangible reality. The first realm of preservation is prayer. Prayer is not just an exercise of devotion, it is the atmosphere that shields dreams from the arrows of discouragement, fear, and opposition. When you carry a big dream, you will soon discover that it attracts resistance. Every destiny that is meant to shine brightly is marked for battles. Without prayer, a dreamer becomes vulnerable to attacks that seek to weaken the resolve of the heart. Through prayer, strength is renewed. Through prayer, clarity comes. Through prayer, the noise of doubt is silenced so that vision can remain alive. Prayer has the ability to keep the fire of a dream burning when the winds of adversity try to quench it. It is in the place of prayer that you receive divine strategies, supernatural encouragement, and the courage to walk paths you have never seen before. A man who dreams big but neglects prayer is like a farmer who plants seeds in fertile soil but never waters them. The potential may be there, but without consistent watering, the seed dies unseen. Then comes knowledge. A dream without knowledge is like a powerful engine without fuel. It has the potential to move, but will remain stationary. Many people abort their dreams not because they lacked passion, but because they lacked knowledge. Knowledge equips you with the tools to translate ideas into systems, visions into strategies, and possibilities into products. It is not enough to see a future of greatness, you must build the capacity to sustain it. If your dream is to lead, you must study leadership. If your dream is to build businesses, you must understand principles of finance, management, and innovation. If your dream is to minister to nations, you must immerse yourself in the Word, in doctrine, and in understanding how to communicate truth effectively. Knowledge does not come by chance. It is pursued intentionally. And the size of your dream will determine the depth of knowledge you must acquire. The greater your dream, the greater your responsibility to build capacity so that when the opportunities come, you will not collapse under the weight of what you once prayed for. But knowledge is not only technical, it is also about wisdom for living. You must learn the disciplines that align with your dream. You cannot carry a vision for nations and yet live without order. You cannot desire to sit in places of influence and yet resist correction, learning, and growth. Dreams are not only preserved by excitement, they are preserved by systems and structures that knowledge helps you build. Every wise dreamer understands that passion opens the door, but knowledge keeps you in the room. The third dimension is association. Your relationships are prophetic. They have the power to either strengthen or suffocate your dream. No matter how big your dream is, if you surround yourself with people who mock vision, belittle greatness, and magnify impossibility, it will only be a matter of time before their small thinking infects your spirit. Many destinies have been truncated, not because the dream was small, but because the people around them could not see beyond mediocrity. To sustain a big dream, you must intentionally seek out those who inspire you to think higher, to go further, and to keep pressing even when the road gets tough. Association is like fuel. The right people will remind you why you started, they will challenge your excuses, and they will push you into opportunities you could not have accessed alone. The wrong people will drain you, limit you, and eventually talk you out of your destiny. A big dream grows in the company of big dreamers. When you walk with those who are ahead of you, their testimonies become a prophecy for your own life. Their success creates an environment where your own vision becomes believable. Iron sharpens iron, and when you stay in the presence of those who think, act, and dream bigger than you, your spirit is stretched until mediocrity becomes uncomfortable. This is why the size of your associations often reveals the size of your destiny. If you are comfortable always being the most knowledgeable, the most visionary, the most disciplined in your circle, then your dream will soon shrink to the size of your company. But when you surround yourself with those who provoke you to grow, you find yourself compelled to rise to new heights. When prayer, knowledge, and association converge, a dreamer becomes unstoppable. Prayer preserves your spiritual fire and gives you the stamina to endure challenges. Knowledge builds the intellectual and practical framework to carry the weight of your vision. Association sustains your momentum by providing encouragement, accountability, and inspiration. Remove any of these three and your dream becomes vulnerable. With prayer alone but no knowledge, you will be passionate yet unprepared. With knowledge but no prayer, you may be skilled but spiritually empty and easily defeated by unseen battles. With both prayer and knowledge but wrong associations, you may carry fire and wisdom, yet your environment will choke your potential. This is why those who truly carry great visions spend their lives balancing these three pillars. They pray as though prayer is the only key, they study as though knowledge is the only key, and they choose relationships as though association is the only key. They know that the preservation, building, and sustaining of their dream requires diligence in all three areas. So every time you find yourself wondering why your dream seems delayed or why it feels as though your vision is fading, examine these three dimensions. Have you remained consistent in prayer, contending in the Spirit for the preservation of what you carry? Have you invested enough in knowledge, stretching yourself beyond your comfort zone to acquire the skills, the wisdom, and the disciplines required for your dream? Have you surrounded yourself with men and women who truly believe in possibilities, or are you wasting your time with those who trivialize vision? The answer to these questions will often reveal why a dream flourishes or why it dies.